First, you're going to start by cutting off the sleeve under the armpit and on the side of the collar. Do not cut the collar off because you're going to need that later. So you're going to fold your item in half just to make sure that both sides are symmetrical. This is very important. Do not try to wing it, okay? This just makes your life that much easier. Then you're going to open up your shirt and decide exactly where you want to cut it. I want mine not to be a crop top, but I don't want it all the way down to my waist. You can decide wherever. I suggest putting it on and putting a pin there to decide exactly where you want it, and cut off just the very front layer of your shirt. Do not go through the back because you will be needing the back later. So next you're going to turn your halter top around and we're going to work on the back. You're going to be cutting from the armpit to the armpit a straight line, only cutting through the back layer because that's going to create the halter top effect. So you only want to cut the straight line. Do not cut any of these pieces off because you're going to be using them later. Once you cut that straight line, you're going to create another line from that line down to the bottom, and you're going to cut that straight up. So it's going to look like a T, and you're going to keep these layers available because these are going to be the straps for your halter top. So you're going to cut straight up and straight across, or you can cut straight across and straight down, whatever works for you best. Now to create the straps for your halter top, you're going to put these two pieces together. And the reason why I put them together is because it allows you to do two things at one time and to make sure that they're the same on both sides. Now, I like to just cut this at a diagonal just to make sure the strap is as long as it possibly can be. And you can see to make it the longest, you have to use the corner to the corner. So it really doesn't matter how perfect these are because you're going to stretch them out, but try to get as much strap in there as possible because the longer the strap, the easier it is to tie. And once you got your straps, you're just going to lightly stretch them apart, and that's going to make the edge not look so rough and kind of just stretch out the edge so it looks more clean. To create your halter top straps, you're going to cut a straight line from the bottom straight through the top of the neckline. Then you're going to do pretty much the same thing you did with the other straps and cut up the side and around the collar. Do not cut through the collar. Cut as close to the collar as you can, but not through it because that is going to be wrapped around your neck still. Then you lightly stretch those as well to create a finished look, and that's pretty much it, guys. That is how you create a very simple t-shirt halter top. Now this shirt takes very minimal sewing. So first what you're going to do is you're going to create a line straight down from the collar all the way to the bottom of the shirt. Next, you're going to take your scissors and just cut along that straight line. Next, you're going to get your ruler and you're going to measure right underneath where you want the shirt to wrap from. Now, you're not going to cut it, but you're going to mark the sides because you're going to use those sides as guides to where your shirt is going to wrap at. So you're going to cut up the seam to those lines on both sides of your shirt. So you're going to flip those pieces up, and you can use a ruler or you can pretty much use those pieces you flipped up as a guide to where you should cut off the back panel. Save that piece because you're going to need it later. So once you put those flaps down, you see that's how your shirt is going to unfold. Now, next what you're going to do is you're going to cut off the collar. You don't need the collar because the collar is what keeps it together. And to get that off the shoulder look, you gotta let go of that collar. So just take your time and cut off the collar very neatly. So just like your other shirt, you're going to stretch out those seams just to make them look a little bit more finished and less cut. And you're going to go through and do that on all the seams, every part that you cut off. Next, depending on where you want your shirt to wrap, you're going to put a very small hole underneath the armpit and stretch it out a bit, because that's where your shirt is going to wrap through. That's going to create the foundation so that your shirt is actually tight. Now this is where the sewing comes involved. You cut off the extra piece from your shirt and you're going to use that to create your wraparound ties. So what I do is just fold it in half, cut it, and then attach it to the ends of the ties that I created on my actual shirt. Now you can use a sewing machine, you can hand sew this, you can even bond it with glue, whatever you have. I use my sewing machine, but you can use whatever you have at home to do this. And this creates longer straps. Then you want to just trim them to make sure that the straps are the same size, and stretch them like you've always done. Now my shirt was a little big, so I had to take it in the back. So if your shirt is a little big, all you have to do is fold it in the back and take it in as many inches as you need, and it will create that tight look around your shoulders. But I suggest you get a shirt that is actually your size, or maybe one size larger. Mine was actually 3 sizes larger, so that's why I had to do that. And there you have it, a cute off-the-shoulder wrap shirt. So with this one, you're going to use the pesky long sleeves that I know we all have. You're going to cut on the shoulder seam, cut down to your logo, and cut up the other shoulder seam, and that's going to create the off-the-shoulder effect. Then next, you're going to cut it straight across to where you want your shirt to sit under the bust. Now this can be longer or shorter, you can decide. Then you're going to use your extra fabric that you cut off, and this is going to create your ruffle effect underneath your bust. You're going to cut that in half, and you're going to cut this into strips of fabric. You're going to fold that strip in half, then you're going to cut that strip, and you're going to piece it together, because the objective is to create the longest piece you can, because the longer, the more ruffles that you have. Once those two strips are sewn together, you're going to again fold them one more time, and then you're going to sew along the open edge. And this is again just going to create a thicker fabric so that you can have a thicker, more epic ruffle. Now once that's sewn together, you're going to create a gather stitch, and that is going to help create this gathering of the ruffle. So what you do is you either hand sew and make the stitches far apart, or you can use your sewing machine and turn up the stitch length to the highest it can go. Then you grab the back string and you just pull, and it actually just gathers the fabric for you. Once you have your ruffles, then it's time to attach them to the bottom of your shirt. Now you can do this shirt without the ruffles, but I'm a ruffle queen, so I had to add them in. So what you're going to do is just pin it to the very bottom of your shirt, and then you're just going to easily stitch around. After you've attached a ruffle, it's time to work on the top. And because this shirt is a little oversized, you're going to create a very small tunnel around the complete perimeter of the top, including the shoulders of your shirt. You're going to use pins to create this tunnel, and you're going to stitch around the bottom of that tunnel, making sure to leave about 2-inch space so that you can feed in your elastic. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch of elastic for this top of shirt, and I'm going to also use the 1-inch elastic for the bottom of the shirt as well. To create the cinched in waist, all you do is measure around the underbust with your elastic, and you take off 2 inches. Then you attach it to your sewing machine, and you make sure you stretch as you sew. Lastly, you feed in your elastic in the tunnel at the top, and then you just close up that area, And there you have it, your cute off-the-shoulder t-shirt. See, there's no need to let all those t-shirts go to waste. You can reuse them and turn them into something that you actually would love to wear. Thanks for watching.